Hello, this is Logan Kaplan. Today, I had the privilege to sit down with Mel Fox, a Jewish World War II veteran. Now, this is the second of these that I've done, and it was really quite an incredible experience because I got a whole new range of input from him and a very different experience. And it was really quite a privilege to get to talk to him about his faith, about his experiences during the war, and what it was like also being a Jewish World War II veteran. It is a very unique place to be in, especially when you're in a fight against the Nazis, and to be able to have him speak into the world that we live in today is really quite a privilege, and I'm really excited to be able to share all that he had to say with you. So I would like to give a huge thank you to the World War II Veteran History Project, who I am working with on this project, and I am going to let us get right on into it. Anyways, please subscribe, and let's get into our interview with Mel Fox.
My name is Melvin Fox. I was in the Army Air Force, and I wound up as a PFC.
Were you drafted or did you enlist?
I enlisted. At 18, I went to the draft board, and they turned me down for whatever their reason was. At 19, I enlisted.
And do you recall your first days in the service?
Well, I went down to, I think it was 39 Whitehall Street, where I was inducted. I wound up in Fort Dix, New Jersey. And after Fort Dix, I wound up in Keesler Field, Mississippi for basic training. No, I did my basic training in Fort Dix and then wound up in Keesler Field in the Air Force on the hottest day in the summer in August in Mississippi. Can you imagine that for a New York kid?
Do you still remember how hot it was?
I know one thing. We were falling like flies. It was so humid.
Before that, you were living in where?
I was living in New York, in Manhattan. I was living with my folks.
And did you see combat?
I saw no combat. I didn't go overseas. I was statewide my whole time in the service.
What was your reaction to the bombing of Pearl Harbor? Do you remember where you were?
Yeah, I remember that very, very clearly. There are very few people that can say what I'm going to say now. December 7th, I was in the Polo Grounds watching a football game between the New York Giants and the Brooklyn Dodgers. And Ace Parker was the quarterback for the Dodgers. The Giants had Mel Hine, Tuffy Lehmans, and Al Blozes, who got killed later on in the Army. And all of a sudden, we heard an announcement, well, Colonel, I think his name was Patterson, please report. And the next thing I heard was Pearl Harbor got bombed. And everybody said, who the F is Pearl Harbor? Whoever heard of her? Never heard of her. And that was December 7th. I was there when it happened. I was not in Pearl Harbor, thank God. I was in the Polo Grounds on 155th Street and 8th Avenue in New York.
And how soon after that? That would have been how many years after?
That was 41. And I went in 45, so it was like 3.5, 4 years later.
What was the environment of the whole country at that time? Do you remember doing anything? What was the atmosphere?
The atmosphere in the country, I don't know. Don't forget, I was born in 36, right. So I was 15 years old. You know, I mean, to me, I don't know, we were at war. We were going to kill some Germans.
You're a Jewish American. What did you know about what was going on in Germany at the time?
I had family in Poland, and my father had his mother, his family was there. He didn't have anything, so he went to the relatives, had a few dollars to get together things to send over to them to help them. That's about all I remember.
Did your family ever hear from them again?
One cousin came out alive. She was my father's sister's daughter, which is my cousin of mine, survived. She wound up in an Italian prison camp, got married, had children. One of her sons is a dentist in a hospital in Westchester, and one is out in California. I'm not close with them, but I know where they are. Occasionally, I hear from them. I'm not too close with a lot of the other families in my family.
What was your family situation like growing up?
My situation, when I was a kid, we had nothing. We didn't even have 2 coppers to put together. When I went to school, when I started going to yeshiva at 6 years old, my mother would go to work on the cemeteries on a Sunday with a pushka to collect money to help pay for my tuition. I came from a very, very poor family.
It doesn't seem very poor in spirit. Can you tell me about your religious upbringing?
My upbringing from 6 till I graduated elementary was 100% Orthodox. Once I went into Seward Park High School, that's when I started turning, well, today you would say left. I mean, I hate that word. I hate to use it that way, but I started turning a little not anti-religion, but away from religion. So I've been on all sides of the block already. I've been at the point where I was really 100% religious, Orthodox. I was at the point where you could say I was left of a Reformed even. I was almost like a Christian. I didn't believe in Christ. I still don't, thank God. I've been around. I got married. I was around 22 years old when I got married. I had 3 children. I had 2 daughters and a son. I was happily married for around 36 years. And then my wife passed away. I was 60 years old. My wife was about 58 years old when she passed away, and I was 60, so I was still a young man.
Do you recall anything particularly humorous or funny or just random little that happened?
Yeah, I remember the first year of being in Keesler Field, and Yom Kippur was coming. We asked for leave to go home for Yom Kippur, which they reluctantly gave us and told us we better be back on time. Well, we got back a little late, so we wound up with KP. Those days, we expected those things. As Jews, we've had anti-Semitism in this country before, but I do remember one thing that stuck with me all my life. Sergeant Kelly at indoctrination said, now listen, right now you guys hate the Germans and you hate the Japs. When this war is over, you're not going to hate them anymore, but you're going to probably find somebody else to hate, because that's human nature. And I'll never forget his words, how true they are, even till this day. With all the BS, there's plenty of hatred around.
What was it like to be a Jew in a war against the Nazis?
As a Jew against the Nazis, the Nazi PWs were treated better than the Jewish soldiers in Fort Dix.
Can you explain how you were treated at Fort Dix?
I was treated pretty decently. I had no real problems. I knew when to keep my mouth shut, and I knew how to behave. So I was okay I think I was there 4 weeks or 8 weeks. Let's see. I don't know when I went in, but I know in August I shipped out to Keesler Field.
While you were there, did you ever keep a personal diary?
No, I never kept a diary. My memory is very good, and people, even till today, people remark about Mel. They say one thing about Mel: don't bullshit him, because he's got a good memory.
What do the other officers and fellow soldiers think about you, more particularly?
I got along with everybody. There was no problem. My bunkmates, we got along. Whether you were from Tennessee or from wherever you were from, if you were in my bunk, I got along with you.
Were you stateside?
I was stateside the whole period.
Were there any particular experiences that stuck with you?
Nah, not really. I mean, to me, it was just another job. I mean, I'd get up in the morning, I'd do what I had to do. When I was in Maxwell Field, I was in the MPs. I do remember a truck ran the gate once. I was on duty, and I fired a 45, and I missed the whole goddamn truck. I do remember another incident, which I was on duty at the MP, as an MP in Maxwell Field, Alabama, outside the gate. There was a place called the Old Mill. I guess it may have been an old textile mill or whatever. And I was shipping out the next day to Mitchell Field to be discharged. And I was on duty with another guy, and we were probably sleeping half the time, but that's okay. The next day, a sergeant came up to me and said, "You're Mel Fox?" I said, "Yeah, I'm Melvin Fox." And he pulled a gun out and put it in my belly. He said, "I'm going to blow your brains out." I said, "What for?" So you made a pass at my wife. I said, "Your wife?" I didn't want to say that I was sleeping, because that's a criminal act, sleeping on duty. So first thing I said, "Let me see a picture of your wife." So he had to drop his gun to take the picture out. By the time he took this picture out and showed me, I said, "I never saw her, Sarge. You got the wrong guy." Well, the next 24 hours, I spent riding around with somebody that had a gun to make sure that this guy don't start. And I shipped out. I don't need him otherwise.
Do you remember when you were serving what your daily routine was like?
Depends. When I was in Maxwell Field, Alabama, my daily routine was I'd get up in the morning, shave, whatever I had to do, get dressed, then report for duty and do my job. Whether it was riding the Jeep or patrol, whatever I had to do, it was like an 8-hour job. Or I'd be in the guardhouse on duty watching the prisoners.
So after that, do you recall the day your service ended?
Yeah, Mitchell Field.
You were decommissioned. Do you remember what that experience was like?
They gave me a piece of paper, and I think they gave me an allowance to get home, and that was it.
What was your relation to God while you were in the service?
My relation with God in the Army was mixed. I didn't keep kosher, but I didn't eat pork.
So there were certain things you were very conscious of.
Yeah, what I was conscious of, I mean, I didn't observe the Sabbath. I didn't observe anything. I was in the Army.
Did you talk to God when you were in the Army?
I probably spoke to him. I don't know if he ever answered me, but I spoke to him. I don't know if he still answered me. I'm still waiting for an answer, but it's okay.
What do you love most about America?
What I love most about America is that it's a country that, thank God, a Jew can become whatever he wants to do. There's no stopping anybody.
If you could go back and say something to your younger self, what would you say?
I would probably say I should have gone to college. And I would probably say that I should have gone into business on my own way before I did. I did well financially. I've got no complaints. I went to work when I was 16, part-time, went to the Army, came out of the Army, went back to that place I started. I stayed there for 19 years till age 35, which at that time already I had a wife and 3 kids. And that's it. I'm here. I'm enjoying life.
Can you explain the Rangers cap?
Yeah, the Rangers cap. My grandson, Adam, happens to be my youngest grandson, started skating when he was maybe 2, 3, 4 years old. My son was a rabid Ranger fan, just like me. And he played a little hockey as a grown-up, played roller hockey first. Then he started playing a little skating hockey with his friends. And he had his 2 boys on ice when they were babies, practically. Well, Adam took to it, and when he was 60, he joined a travel team in Long Island called the Long Island Gulls, and they traveled all over the country, including up into Canada. And he became a decent hockey player. He became so decent that Harvard wanted him. Thank God he's got the brains. I guess it came from the Fox side of the family. When he went to Harvard, the first thing I told him was, now listen, you got to get a diploma. You must get a diploma. I don't give a shit about anything else. You're not going for 1 year and that's it. Well, it so happens he lasted for 2 years. The USA Development League sent him out to Michigan, and he boarded with a family for his last 2 years of high school. Originally, he comes from Jericho, Long Island. He was drafted by a team in Calgary, which he told, I'm going to school. So they switched the rights to North Carolina, and he told them the same thing. Now in the NHL, if you go out of college, you can become a free agent, and his agent got him to get to the Rangers. He wanted to play for the Rangers, and he became a defenseman. He's the first Jewish defenseman to win the Norris Trophy in his rookie year, and he's still one of the top defensemen in the league, because he may not be the fastest, may not be the tallest, may not be the heaviest, but his brains and sights, he sees the play before it happens. They rave about him. People say to me, you're Mel Fox's grandfather. I dated a woman one night, and she says to me, she says, I told my son that I had a date with you. She says, so you don't want what happened? I said, well, what happened? She says, my son said, Ma, you're dating Mel Fox, the grandfather of Adam Fox of the New York Rangers? Big deal. Doesn't mean a thing.
It hasn't gone to your head.
No. I mean, it hasn't and it hasn't. I mean, I take it as a compliment.
You're a proud grandfather.
I'm proud. I'm proud of all my grandchildren. I got the 6 of them. I have 6 grandsons. 3 are married already. One's getting married the end of August. That's why I'm going up August. Everything. I'm proud of all of them in their own way. My oldest is a lawyer. He works for a title company. The one after him, he's married. He's got a kid, another baby on the way. Sam is out in California. He does the podcast. His brother graduated Washington University. Now he's in Tel Aviv University, wants to be an Israeli diplomat. So I got no complaints with any of my grandchildren. With the children, I may have some complaints, but the grandchildren are okay.
Is there any experience, anything you wanted to talk about that I didn't ask about from when you were in the war?
I was lucky. I didn't go overseas. I didn't see any action. I didn't get hurt. I came out alive. I've led a good life. I'll be 99 next month in August, God willing. What have I got to complain about? When I stop to really think about it, it's all God's wishes. Whatever's B'Shet is B'Shet. What can I say?
Is there any message you'd like to give to the world?
Yeah, there's one message I'd like to give to the world, and I really mean it, and it took me a long time for that message to come to me. The message is to be happy with what you have. Don't be envious and don't be jealous of the next person. If you're driving a Plymouth, be happy with the Plymouth. You don't need a Rolls Royce to make you happy. Trying to make it into something that it's not. You can't make something out of nothing. I'm content. I don't have to have a Rolls Royce to ride in. I can drive a Kia and get there. I'm not saying I wouldn't want a Rolls Royce, but if I can't have it, not the end of the world. People should feel that way. Be happy. I get a letter, I get something every week called Shabbat Shalom. Fact. Rabbi White, he had that in there. Be thankful for what you have. You don't have to be the richest guy on the block.
A mentor of mine says it's a moral obligation to be happy.
It's a moral obligation to be happy, yes. Judaism is that religion. It's a religion of happiness. It's not a sad religion. Shabbat, people take Shabbat, forget about me personally. You know, it's a day off to do what you want. It's not restrictive. It's a day for you to relax. Get closer to God. I know even for me it's hard. I've still got that television, you know, so I try not to watch it on Saturday. I mean, I do occasionally. I'm not saying, hey, listen, I don't claim to be a tzaddik. When Shabbos ends at 9 o'clock, what I should be doing is maybe studying a little Torah, but I'm not that kind of guy, all right? Unfortunately, maybe I've been too far on the left to come back 100%, but I still keep kosher.
Did you wrap your tefillin today?
Yes, I daven every morning. I put on tefillin every day except
You go to shul every morning?
I don't go to shul. I may go tonight. You know, I may go at night, you know, depending on the schedule. But I go Friday night. I go Saturday morning. Saturday night, I don't go back a lot of times because when Motzi Shabbos, it's dark. I don't want to drive it at night.
You like your community here?
Yes, the community is nice. The people are nice.
All right. Anything else you want to say before I turn all these off?
What else can I say? I'm happy I'm alive.
And that was our experience. It was, again, quite incredible to be able to get this privilege. And I really took away one big thing, and that was to always be proud in your faith and be proud of what this country means. And this country, for Mel, meant the ability to practice his faith. And that's certainly a big part of what this country means to me as well. That's one of the core parts. And I still think America's the greatest country in the world. And I think people like him who are a part of the fight for freedom should be honored and revered. And I am hugely grateful to all of our service members for protecting the great freedoms we have. Anyways, this has been Logan Kaplan. Thank you very much.